So recently, the bass section prizes were removed from all the championships in Scotland. You were very vocal against this. Tell me why.
You know, I think that there was a perception that bass and tenor drummers were disappointed with losing, a prize for an individual section. You know, the arguments were that the bass section's part of the drum corps, meaning the bass and tenor drummers are part of the collective drum corps with the snare drummers. The problem was that with all the issues I just outlined, that things have improved tonally, rhythmically, visually, but they've never, believe it or not, and in my opinion, been assessed as part of a collective corps. It's essentially been historically two piping judges, an ensemble judge, and a snare drumming judge. And none of these people, and you can count the two piping judges out. The ensemble and the drumming judge haven't historically put any weight on the way in which the bass section or the bass and tenor drummers were contributing as part of that larger whole. Okay, so in terms of the snare section, in terms of, the bass and tenor enhancing the tonal qualities of the snare corps, or in terms of the ensemble, the way the bass and tenor corps has been enhancing the melody and the snare drumming. So things have moved forward, as I previously discussed, so much, tonally, visually, rhythmically, that, in my opinion, the bass section prize was all, at this particular point in time, modern day bass and tenor drummers had to strive for as part of a collective band. It was symbolic of excellence in a drum corps. It was symbolic of excellence of bass and tenor drummers doing their job to enhance the drum corps, in terms of bass and tenor drummers' ability to enhance the piping and the snare drumming together. Because modern day pipe bands haven't typically, the means by which they're assessed has not, caught up with the way in which bass and tenor drumming has developed. And in my opinion, I do not criticize the snare drumming judge, and I don't criticize the ensemble judge. My point is, there's so much going on there in pipe band bass and tenor drumming that it's very difficult for either of these people to fairly assess it. So I believe that we needed that prize to enhance, all these young bass and tenor drummers in, novice, juvenile, grade 4, 4A and B, grade 3, all these various levels out with the top level needed that prize to strive for something, because it wasn't truly being reflected on the score sheets of the ensemble and the drumming judges. I think we've come a long way. We've come a long way over the last 25 years, but the absence of that prize essentially was the absence of a lot more than what many snare drummers and pipers realized. Modern day bass and tenor drummers deserve to be assessed or have a score sheet that reflects their respective contribution as part of the snare corps and the ensemble. And up to this point in time, the bass section prize was all that reflected that. But in Ontario today, we've been experimenting with the concept of a separate mid or bass section judge. And I think that, in all fairness to the snare drumming judges and the ensemble judges, a bass section or mid section judge, even if it's scored as part of the collective ensemble or drumming results, I'm indifferent on how it's, how it contributes in terms of weighting. I think that it's the only way for a modern day bass and tenor corps, as part of the collective drum corps, to be truly assessed as part of the collective, band. And I think we have a lot of room for growth on that front, and we'll see if this trial in Ontario is the way in which to move forward with this. But the only way we'll know is by trying, and I'm happy to evaluate other options if this doesn't work. Everything's over. We're just going to head back to the Premier tent now, submit the petition to the RSPBA. It's going to be history in the making, I hope. In the meantime, listen to all those happy bands marching off right now. You know what they say? You always lose more than you win. We just lost another one today. But we certainly played our hearts out, and that's really all that matters to me. I was really happy with everything today. I'm really proud of all the guys. And we'll just come back next year and we'll try it again. Here we go. Let's go submit this petition.
Okay, so there we met with Ian Embleton. He's the Chief Executive of the Royal Scottish Pipe Band Association, and we handed over the petition that we spoke about earlier in the day. Ian is pretty much kind of piggy in the middle of the whole thing. He's not involved in any of the decision-making processes at all. Ian is essentially involved in the administrative side of the RSPB. So what Ian will do, as he promised there, is he'll present that at the next National Council meeting of the RSPB for consideration and discussion anyway, and then we just have to wait and see what comes from that. And his advice to all of us really is to lobby our music board representatives to talk about taking the thing forward and maybe presenting it next year's AGM. So that's all we can do really at this stage. I mean, a petition isn't going to accomplish anything right now other than telling the RSPBA that 688 people don't agree with their decision. So I think there's a lot to go yet, but if we can get something back, it would be great. And if we can stop other things going, even better.
And again, the end result you're looking for is?
The end result we're looking for is to bring back base section prizes to all the major pipe band championships, this being one of them. The last one was awarded last year, and of course there was none today, and nor will there be until this is overturned. So we really need to try and do something. It's a shame, it's just, there's a lot of history that's been lost, and it'd be a real shame to see that going forever after the progress that's been made over the decades.
Any thoughts?
I'm just really proud of my buddy Scott here for having the as we say in Canada, the gonads to move forward with the whole thing. None of this would have happened without his help and his support to be able to make this whole thing happen. So onwards and upwards, let's make it happen, and we'll see where this takes us in another 20 years. So it's exciting times.
Let's do it.